Dark Souls is glorious. The way the music is used in the series has always served to elevate the absolute cinema battles to the death. The open world is completely silent so that when that boss music hits, it's pure bliss. If you can get that far into the fight. Yeah, Pinwheel's a boss fight that's likely to end within 5 or so hits from that claymore you got on the bridge on the way to Undead Parish, so you probably didn't know how brilliant and haunting this musical piece really is. Like the title says, Pinwheel's theme is kinda sick, and I wanted to show you some of the techniques that you can steal and apply to your own compositions. We'll be taking a look at 3 main elements that make this tune so chilling: the structure, the melody, and texture. Starting with structure, well, that one's kinda easy. The piece moves in nice, clean 4-bar sections with instruments entering and exiting as things proceed. Honestly, it's the least tense thing about the theme, but it allows for an easy time to keep up with all the weirdness that happens in the melody. A low C pedal from strings supports the interplay between a shamisen and a harp. This is the main idea that we'll be returning to later on in the piece in a few different ways. Looking at the notes, the melody comes from a really unique scale that I've summed up to be some sort of a C melodic minor with a sharp 4. Normally, C melodic minor is spelled C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B, C. But there's an intentional use of F sharp that pops up all over the place in this initial idea. This gives us even more otherworldly notes to choose from. The plucked instruments add a tense texture to the opening theme. Considering we're interrupting a madman's necromancy experiment, it really gives us the feeling that we shouldn't be here. Whispered vocals swirl around as another eerie texture. Many players swear they can hear the voices saying things like, "I'm sorry," and "help me," as if we're hearing the fused abomination's regret for trying magic that should never be touched. The opening motifs continue in the next 4 bars, with addition of long flute tones and violins jockeying for position as the main idea. Flute is usually an instrument that lives comfortably in the higher range, so it's rare to hear it played so low. Down here, the texture hits in a way that builds anxiety. Pinned up with the harp and the newly entered harpsichord, and we end up with some nasty clashes. In the next section, we get introduced to some brand new material in a vocal choir sample. The extreme low to high range gives a texture that's reminiscent of Super Metroid, specifically the Criteria theme. We hear violins take over the top line with a new angular melody that alters our scale even further by introducing a D flat for extra tension. Longer, sustained notes give us a break from all the short plucks, and bringing the dynamics down gives us a launch pad to break and build tension going into the next section. The intro theme comes back with a small twist on the low flute we heard before. Here, Sakuraba takes an opportunity to play with texture in a myriad of ways. This is the most active we hear the pizzicato bass as it walks all over the C Phrygian scale, an odd appearance from this set of notes. Staccato violins enter after 2 bars and meet up with the solo violins for a crunchy crescendo right before a breakdown. Now, what is a breakdown? A breakdown is a moment in a song or piece of music where the instruments strip back and only a few remain. The instruments here strip way back, and all we're left with is almost like a chromatic waltz of madness. Harpsichord gets the center stage for the first time, weaving together with the solo violin. The space and the triplet phrasing introduces a tension that we haven't felt at all throughout the piece. Still keeps things unsettling, and the only thing really grounding us rhythmically is a harp ostinato that outlines a tritone. The clash of ranges, timbre, and rhythm between everything here still keeps things unsettling, even though this is a moment where the dynamics cool off a bit. We reach a final recap of the intro idea with yet another variation on the flute lines we heard before. Still playing in that low range, but this time a sequence that completely goes outside the scale we've chosen before. The solo violin falls into an ostinato that I can only describe as a weeping ambulance siren. If you know the sound of a Japanese ambulance siren, then you'll know what they were going for. It's almost as if Pinwheel himself is crying out for help. This incidentally pushes us into an odd tonal moment where a D7 to G is almost implied. It's a respite from the scalar tension that we've been enduring throughout the piece, and a moment where you can almost feel Pinwheel's regret. The piece comes to a final head as all instruments crash into a triplet stampede. Violin begins the build-up with its own ostinato, and harp joins it with a shepherd tone-like infinite rise. The low strings dance around pizzicato arpeggios, and whispers from before build into a final shout until the track cools off to loop back into the intro. Pinwheel's theme is a brilliant piece of musical storytelling that unfortunately flies under the radar because of the fight that it underscores. It's a unique standout in the legendary game that started the legendary Souls trilogy that we all know and love today. I'm happy to finally give it its flowers in the most surgical way possible. Transcriptions are available in the description, and if you have a piece of music from a game or film that you want to see broken down, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.